Afternoon, everybody. We are live. Live is on. Let me get my comment pinned here, as usual. There we go. We pinned. All right, we are pinned in the comments. I'm live on Facebook. My Facebook page is Work on Your Game. Also, are we simulcasting? I think I'm simulcasting my Facebook business group, which is called Six Figures and Growing. If that sounds like you need to be in that Facebook group. You can find that at, just go to Facebook, look up the group. And that's I'm live on Facebook, two places on Facebook, and live on here on IG. Hope everybody's having a great start to your month and a great start to your week. Shout yourselves out. Tell me where you're checking in from in the comment section. Tell me your locations in the comment sections. We can get into our conversation, what we need to talk about today. We got something important that needs to be discussed. Everybody needs to understand, because this is really going to help you with self-evaluation, which is a big thing that we do over here at Work on Your Game. So those of you who are not familiar, you want to learn today. You will learn this afternoon. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. Some know me as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. I'm the author. We got AZ in the house. Shout out to AZ, Arizona. I'm a former 9-year professional basketball player, author of 33 books. I've done 4 TEDx talks, and I created this whole brand called Work on Your Game. What we do here is we take the mental tools and strategies and the systems that allow athletes to get to the top 1% in sports, or help them get to the top 1% in sports. And we translate those tools over from the sports world to the business world to help professionals like yourselves perform at your highest level, be more consistent at that performance, make that performance consistent. And then because of that, you make more money in your business. So what we're going to talk about here today is what level you are existing at. And I talked about this a little bit in the reel that I posted earlier today, but that reel was only 90 seconds long. So today I'm going to go probably a little bit longer than 90 seconds. And I'm going to explain to you what levels people live at. And you really need to think about what level you're at and what this says about what direction you're headed at. Because the level that you're at right now and is also about the trajectory of where you are going. So we're not just talking about the present. We're talking about where you're headed in the future. Los Angeles is in the building. Shout out to LA. So let's get straight into it, because I don't really have to give too much of a background on this, but I will tell you that this is really about the law of association. And any of you who has not heard of the law of association, let me explain to you what it says. The law of association says that you are the average of the people you spend the most time with. So wherever you're spending the most time, whoever you're spending the most time around, whoever you're spending the most time associating with, listening to, and engaging with, and you're on the same wavelength of energy as them, that's where you're headed. That's the person that you are about to become. So that could be one person, it could be 5 people, it could be 10 people, but you really need to pay attention to your associations, because it's going to play a big role in where you end up. What's going on, Brandon, over there on Facebook, checking in from Texas. So let's get to level 1. Small-minded individuals. You know what small-minded individuals do? You know how they spend most of their time? Small-minded individuals spend most of their time discussing people. They talk about other people. That's what small-minded people do. They talk about other people. So these are the individuals who you see gossiping. This is those of you who watch a whole lot of reality television. Any of you who looks on social media and you see the like back and forth. This person is talking stuff about this person, and 2 people are going back and forth in the comment section that don't even know each other. Or just people just wasting their time, attention, energy, and focus, which all can be used to make money. So now you're also wasting money focusing on things that are not actually helping you get anywhere, but you're engaging with people, or not even engaging with people, but just paying attention to people. That's the small-minded people discuss people. That's what they do. Small minds discuss people. And they could be discussing anything. They're just talking about other people. So this is a person who goes and makes some content on social media talking about another individual. Or this is a person who goes in the comment section and you talk something about whoever made the content or somebody else in the comment section. This is just talking about people. I don't even want to spend too much time on this, because small-minded people are not who I'm trying to bring into my audience. So if you're one of these individuals, you're probably not even listening to me right now. So that's a small-minded person. Second type of person is the average-minded individual. This is the average person. What most people do is not so much they discuss people in the context of discussing people in a bigger picture. What average-minded people do is discuss events. Average-minded people talk about what happened, not necessarily who did it. They talk about that a little bit, but average-minded people are always talking about what happened, what has already taken place. They're talking about events. So these are the individuals these are people who, and listen, I'm be talking about some of you right now. These are the people who get really excited to go see the latest movie that came out, or you're watching the newest TV show that just dropped, or you want to get tickets to go see some concert of your favorite performer. You are driven by whatever's happening in, quote unquote, the news, which is not really the news. It's whatever's going to get you excited. It's not really news. You like watching debates. These are the average-minded people, like watching other people live out their dreams. So when you're spending a whole lot of time, you get really excited to watch sports, or your favorite entertainer, or your favorite movie star or TV show actor, or you get really excited defending or cheering for your favorite celebrity winning some award or trophy. This is an average-minded way of thinking. This doesn't make you a bad person. It's just an average-minded way of thinking. These are people who live vicariously through other people's success. This is what average people do. And again, this doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you an average person. Most people, by definition, are average. So if I'm talking about you right now, Janie Lacey, what's going on? Good afternoon. If I'm talking about you right now, if I'm describing you right now, don't feel bad, because you got a whole lot of company. Most people are like this. Most people live at level 1 and level 2, either talking about people or they're talking about events. When you watch ESPN, and what do they do on ESPN all day? What's the stuff that goes viral off of ESPN? What is where they're debating, right? And when those guys are debating and you get excited about that, well, what are they doing in those debates? They're talking about events and they're talking about people. That's what they do. They talk about events and people. Average and low level people, this is what they do. They talk about events and they talk about people. And again, this does not mean that you cannot be, quote unquote, successful, whatever you consider to be successful, because those guys that work at ESPN, they can get a nice paycheck for talking about people and talking about events all day, every day. My question is, do you want to build your life around talking about other people? I heard Stephen A. Smith, who's probably the most popular guy at ESPN right now. There have been times when athletes have gotten mad at him because he said something about an athlete, or he questioned their performance, or said something about them, and an athlete clapped back at him. And Stephen A. Smith said once, he said this more than once, he said, my job is not to talk to you. My job is to talk about you. He said that. He stands on that and he believes that. And I suppose he's proud of this concept. And this is what average people do. They get excited to talk about other people and excited to talk about the events that these other people have participated in. So these are, again, the people when the presidential debates. I remember what year is it? It's 2023, so in about a year and a half, we're going to have presidential debates again, whoever the candidates are. And after the debate is over, what happens after the debate? You got the discussion about the debate. Then you got the people on CNN and MSNBC and Fox and every other network, C-SPAN. What do? They got like 8 people sitting at the desk. And what do? They sit there and discuss the debate. They talk about people. Those of you who get all excited about who's the president and who's the vice president, who's going against who and who won the election, all of that stuff is honestly, a lot of it is a distraction. If you really understand how the big game works, it really doesn't matter who's who in that position, because the people who are going to be successful are going to succeed anyway, and the people who are going to fail, you're going to fail anyway. It doesn't matter who the president is or who's in charge. That's a different discussion for a different day. The whole point is average and low level people are always talking about events and they're always talking about people. Everybody clear on that? Let me talk about the highest level person so I can juxtapose this against what I just explained to you. So we're talking about 3 levels of people. The highest level individuals, and this is only about 2%, 2% of the population. These are people who discuss ideas. High level individuals are always talking about ideas. What does it mean to be talking about an idea? Talking about an idea is anything that fits into the personal and professional development space. Because personal and professional development is material that you are consuming that is designed to help you grow as a person, grow as a business person, grow as a professional, make you better, make you a higher level individual, and allow you to provide more value to the marketplace. And because you provide more value to the marketplace will be willing to give more value back to you. That's what personal and professional development is about. So people who go to events, people who go to conferences, that's personal and professional development. If you're buying books, now there's different kinds of books you can buy. There's all kinds of books out there. Some books is just nonsense, but I'm talking about the kind of books that you buy that are going to challenge your thinking. They're going to present you with new ideas. The kind of books where you're going to stop, pause in the middle of your reading, and you got to write down a new idea because you got 3 new ideas from the last chapter of that book. Those kind of books, that kind of material that you consume, because there's all kind of stuff you could be getting from a book. You take courses, you sign up for mastermind groups. If you're in a mastermind, all of that is personal and professional development. You're looking for new challenges, you're looking for ways to grow, and you are comfortable being pushed outside of your comfort zone. Those are all forms of ideas. Great minds, high-level minds, are always looking for ideas. And it doesn't have to be a new idea like you're starting a new business or writing a new book or coming up with a new course. They can be new ideas and new challenging ways to get better at the thing that you're already doing. When I do a lot of professional speaking. And sometimes when I go speak somewhere, I'll ask the decision maker, the check writer, I'll say, well, what is it that the people in your organization want? And they'll say to me, I hear this often, they say, well, look, there are some people in our organization, Dre, who they want to move up. They want to climb the ladder of the company. So they're at this level right now. They're an associate. They want to move up to manager. They want to become a middle manager, a senior manager. They want to move into the C-suite and become an executive. They want to move up. But there are other people in our organization. They're in a certain position. They're not really trying to move up. They just want to grow in the position that they're in. So they're going to stay in that position. They're good where they are, but they want to be better at it. They want to grow in their space. We want you to come in and get them some material to grow in their space. So the stuff that I do is personal and professional development. So even if you're not trying to necessarily move up, but you're trying to get better at where you already are at, that is a growth mentality. So any of you ever heard of a growth mindset? Those are people who are looking for ideas. Because in order to grow, what do you have to do? You got to get out of where you're comfortable. You got to get out of your comfort zone in order to grow. High-level people are always looking for ideas, and this is what they discuss. You put 2 high-level people in a room, they're going to start discussing ideas, and it's going to happen like immediately. When you put 2 average people in a room, they're going to start talking about things that happen. They're going to start talking about events. And you put 2 low-level people in a room, they're going to start talking about other people. And here's what I want you to understand. I want you to look around at your own life and ask yourself what kind of conversations you're having. And if you want to know what kind of conversations you're having, when this live is over, because some of y'all are watching this on your phone, here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up your text messages. Open up the text messages in your phone and look at the last 10 people that you had text conversations with, that you actually been talking to at text. The last 10 people you've been talking to in text. What are those conversations about? Are those conversations about ideas? Are those conversations about events? Or are those conversations about people? Now, here's the challenge of this is that you and the person that you're texting with may be on different levels. So if you're a high level person, you're looking for ideas for the most part, because everybody dabbles at different levels of this, right? Because you can talk about a person, it doesn't mean you're a low level person. You might spend 2 minutes talking about a person, but you spend the majority of your time thinking about ideas, and you're still a high level individual. We all at different times talk about events. We talk about people, but you can still be a high level person focused on ideas. So if you're a high level person who is focused, the majority of your time is focused on ideas, but then you're talking to somebody who's a low level person, their majority of the time is focused on people. And when you talk to them, you got to kind of meet them at their level. So you're talking about people with them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person, but remember the law of association. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. So these people, I talked about this in episode 1058 in my podcast. There are 3 levels of people, levels of association. You got 2-minute people, you got 2-hour people, and you got 2-day people. You got to decide how much time you want to spend with an individual. How much time do you want to spend with people? You can see the low-level person, the person who's always talking about people, and that's the only thing they can really talk about because they don't have any ideas and they ain't doing nothing, so there's no events for them to talk about. You can only spend 2 minutes with those people. You can't spend all day with them. You can't hang with them all day and still remain a high-level individual. They will pull you down because they have more experience being down there than you have being up there. You got to grow into being a high-level individual. You don't have to grow into being a low-level person. You can just stay there by default your whole life. So they got 30 years of experience doing that. You got 5 years being high level. They're going to win. When you're hanging with the average level thinking person, if you are a high level person, all right, don't lie to yourself about this. If you're a high level person, you're hanging with the average person, you get them about 2 hours. They get 2 hours of your time. You'll spend time with them because they have the potential to move up to your level, but they got to choose to do so. You can't make them move up. They have to choose to move up. All you can do is set the example for them to move up, but you can't make them move up. And then when you're hanging with the high level people, the super high level individuals who are always focused on ideas, and I'm going to tell you how to identify these people in a second. You need to spend as much time as you possibly can with them. I call them 2-day people, not today. 2-day, 2 days. You want to spend as much time as possible with these people, and often, because they are higher level individuals, understand To spend time around these people, you may have to invest. You got to use your money. You got to use your money to spend time around these folks. You can't just hang around them whenever you feel like it. Their time is not for free. Why is their time not free? Why do you have to pay to hang around these people? Because they have built themselves up to the level at which they are worth more than the average or the low level person is, which means their time and their presence and their attention is worth money because they made themselves more valuable. They have invested in themselves and they made themselves a more valuable individual. Therefore, their time is worth money. So if you want access to them, you got to pay for it. All right, these are the people who do things like coaching, and they do live events, and they host masterminds. And if you want to talk to them, you got to pay a consulting fee to get them on the phone. Right? You can't just talk to them on the phone whenever you feel like it, because they don't just make themselves available unless they're in control of how much they're available and how long they're available. But you can't just get their time whenever you feel like it, because they made themselves valuable to the point that they can charge money for access. Just to get access to them is worth money. And these people exist on all different levels depending on what you're doing. All right, Jay-Z had a line in one of his songs. He said, just for clarity, my presence is charity. Because what he was saying was, me being in a place, if I show up to a place, I'm making this place more valuable. And what he was saying is, my value is so high that just by being in the room, I make the room more valuable. And he was 100% correct. Because he's made himself a more valuable individual based on the things that he's achieved, and his reputation precedes him. And all of you can do the same thing, but you have to put in the work to make yourself more valuable. So let's get to that part. Let's identify, first of all, how you know you're talking to a high level individual. Well, one way you know is look at what they talk about. When a high level individual can talk about anything that they want, they got a choice to talk about anything that they want. What are they talking about? That's the first thing you should look at. When they can talk about anything, what is their choice? If you follow my material if you listen to my podcast, or you follow me on social media, and you see the reels that I post when I'm standing in front of my whiteboard, or the posts that I put up, sometimes I post a picture with a caption. I grab that from the articles I've written or something that I decided to write. What's in there? If you look at the material every time, what am I giving you? I'm giving you some personal or professional development material. Something's going to challenge you to think, challenge you to move to another level. It's going to give you something to think about, something that you could apply to your business or your life that's going to make you better at what you do. I'm giving you development material. Those are ideas. It might be something that you heard before that I'm reminding you of. It might be something that you never heard before that you're like, damn, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Let me go apply that. Those are high level thoughts. And I'm not saying that to talk myself up. I'm saying it. Look at it. You can see for yourself. And there are many others. I'm not the only person out there that does this. There are many others that every time I see, if I go on YouTube and I'm subscribed to them, I see they got a new video out. I said, I don't even know what this video is about, but I know this person's going to give me something to think about, something that's going to make me better, something that's going to make me smarter, something I can use moving forward in my life. So I'm going to watch this because I know whatever I hear from this person is going to make me better, smarter, and I can use this to make myself a more valuable individual. Those are the things that I want to hear. That's the stuff that I'm looking for on a consistent basis. Question is, what are you looking for? There are other people, when they put something out, well, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be, they're going to be talking about people, or they're going to be talking about events. If I see a video from ESPN, and listen, I'm not saying I won't watch a video from ESPN. I will watch a video from ESPN, but I'm not watching ESPN all day. I'm not watching debate shows and Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. I'm not watching those guys all day, because all they do is talk about other people. That's all they do. That's their job. Their job, they literally get paid to talk about other people and talk about what those other people did. Now, the difference between them and you is that they get paid to talk about other people. They got a career talking about other people. Now, if you ain't getting paid to talk about other people, you shouldn't do what they do, because at least they got a job doing it. They're taking care of their families and paying their bills by talking about other people. If you ain't getting paid the way they're getting paid to talk about other people, you shouldn't be doing the same thing that they're doing, even though it may be entertaining. It's entertaining to hear Stephen A. Smith debate with Kendrick Perkins and Shannon Sharp and what's the other dude, Skip Bayless, and all those other guys. It's entertaining to listen to them talk. But is any of that going to help you get to where you want to go and help you take care of your kids, help you pay your bills, help you get your family where you want to be, help you get your business where you want to be, help you make the money that you want to make? Is any of that going to help you get there? If you can't answer the question with a definitive yes, then the answer is no. There's an author by the name of Derek Sivers. He wrote it was either he named the whole book this, or it was a chapter in one of his books. I can't remember. You can look him up though. And I remember he wrote an article, and he put this in one of his books. He says it's called Hell Yes or No. I like this concept so much, I did a whole podcast episode on the exact topic. I'm going to tell y'all the number of that episode, so y'all can go listen to it yourself. It was episode number 196 of the Work on Your Game podcast. You can listen to that at workonyourgamepodcast.com. I'll put the link in the chat on IG and on Facebook. And hell yes or no is a very simple concept. Whenever you're thinking about doing something and you're trying to decide whether you should do it or not, the answer is either hell yes or no. If you're not saying a resounding hell yes to doing something, then the answer is no, don't do it. Because you're not excited enough to do it. If you're not saying hell yes to doing something, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And I just want you to look around at the people you're consuming. Look around at who you're following on social media. If you're on Facebook, who you following on Facebook? Whose posts come up on your feed when you open up Facebook? You're on Instagram. Whose content comes up when you open up Instagram? And what are they talking about? Are they talking about other people? Are they talking about events? Or are they talking about ideas? Which one are they doing? Usually, most people on social media, and I don't follow that many people. Let me see. I'm on Instagram right now. I'm looking on my other phone on Instagram. I'm following 105 people. Most of the people I follow on Instagram are talking about ideas. That's why I follow them. Is either somebody I know personally, like I know them on a personal level, like I know them in person, and I follow them just because I know them in person. That's either that's one reason why I follow somebody, and the other reason is because they're always talking about. I'm just looking at a couple of these people, see what they're talking about. They're talking about ideas. If it's not like a personal friend, but it's somebody I know like business wise, I follow them because they're talking about ideas. Because I know every time they post something, it might be something in there that might be useful for me to move myself forward. So all of you, I want you to look at who you're following, look at who you're listening to, look at what gets you excited. Do you get excited by hearing somebody talk about another person? Do you get excited when somebody talks about an event that already happened or an event that's happening? Or do you get excited when somebody talks about ideas? Usually, in my experience, most of us have one dominant area that we get the most excited about. For me, it's definitely level 3. I get excited about ideas because I'm always looking to grow and get better. And because I have an audience and because I create material, I have a platform. I'm always looking for new ideas and better ways of doing things because I need to keep my mind fresh and up to date on what those new things are because I got to give it to the audience. I got to give it to my audience. My audience is expecting of me that every day I'm going to send out that daily motivation text, which if you don't get my daily motivation text me at this number that I'm about to put in the chat right here. It's 305-384-6894 for my daily motivation. There are people in my audience who they're expecting that daily motivation every day. They know Dre is going to give me something to think about. Even though daily motivation is only one text message, it's something for you to think about that's going to help your mind, stimulate your mind. Then I'll put out a podcast every day and I'm going to give you something else that's going to get your mind going. And then I'm going to write articles, and then I got courses, then I got my Work on Your Game University. I got all kinds of things going on. People are expecting me to give them some value. Well, listen, that stuff doesn't just come out of thin air. It comes from the fact that I'm always consuming new material, new ideas. I'm listening to what other people are saying. I'm seeing what other people are doing. But it's not just anybody. I'm not just looking at any bum-ass person, any loser on the internet and seeing what they're doing. I'm looking for the people who I know are already on that same wavelength, and I'm seeing what I could borrow from what they say and what they're doing that I could use for my own purposes. For example, I just got this newsletter in the mail that I subscribe to, physical newsletter that I subscribe to in the mail. Yes, physical newsletter that I get in the mail. And they had it wrapped in this like this clear vinyl envelope. And I was looking at it because it's the same size as one of the ones that I send out. So I send out my bulletproof bulletin. I send this out every month to everybody who's a member of my Work on Your Game University. So if you're not a member of Work on Your Game University, you can go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you can become a member every month when I mail these out. I send a new one out every month. The new one is coming soon. It's on the way. It's being printed and shipped right now. This is the March issue. So the April issue is going to be coming out soon from the printer. But when I send these out, I was finding that the envelopes I was using were a little bit too snug. And then I got this other newsletter from somebody else. This is one of the people I follow. They sent their newsletter out and it was in this vinyl envelope, and their envelope fit better than the one that I use. And I'm like, damn, this one is a little bit bigger. I need to find what that envelope was. And I went to my shipping source where I get all my shipping materials, and I looked around on their site and I found the right size envelope, and I just ordered a pack of 100 of them that is on its way to me. And now I'm gonna start using those to ship my stuff out. So I just borrowed an idea from somebody else who I saw is doing something a little bit better than I was doing it. Now, how would I even be thinking about that? I'm thinking about it because, first of all, I'm always looking for new ideas and better ways to do what I do. And secondly, only way I could even see the idea is I had to be subscribed to their newsletter that I pay for. I pay to get this newsletter every month. I pay to get it. And because I get it, I saw the packaging and I said, damn, I need to use that. Theirs is better than mine. They got a better idea than I got. And now I got me a new idea. Now I can do what I do better. But because the only reason I noticed it, because I was paying to get access, and I talk about that on my podcast. You have to pay to get access. If you want to get around people who are playing the game at a higher level than you usually cannot get their best game for free. You got to pay for it. And if you're not willing to pay, then you can't make money. If you're not willing to spend money, you can't make money. So you ever heard the phrase, it takes money to make money? And in some ways it's true, some ways it's not. But if you're not willing to give money, you're not willing to invest, how are you going to divest? You can't. You can't bring money in if you're not willing to let money go. And this is called the economy. The economy works when money is circulating. That means people are spending and people are earning. That's the economy. You want a healthy economy, people spend money and people make money. But if everybody's holding on to money because nobody wants to spend any, everybody's trying to be tight, well, then the economy slows down. We get recessions and depressions, and you got all kinds of problems. That's a different conversation for a different day. But I want to make sure everybody got what I said here. So let me recap these 3 points that I gave you here. And how do you identify these people? Again, look for people who are always looking for ideas. So 3 levels of people. Level 1 person, this is the lowest level individual. They always talk about other people. Level 2 people, this is the average person. They are talking about events. Most people are level 1 and level 2. They're either talking about people or they're talking about the events that other people participate in. They're not talking about anything they're doing, talking about what everybody else is doing. And level 3 is the ideas. These people are always discussing ideas. Great minds discuss ideas. Average and low level minds talk about other people and they talk about events. So I want you to think about, where are you living? Are you constantly thinking about other people and events and things that happen and they got nothing to do with you? Or are you looking for and thinking about and seeking out and implementing ideas that can help you perform and live and be at a higher level in your life? And wherever you are living, that's where you're headed. If you're looking at people, you're always paying attention to people, you're on your way down. If you're paying attention to events, you are average and you're going to stay pretty much where you are right now in life. Everybody I talk to says they want to do better. Everyone I talk to says they want to make more money. They want to do better. They're tired of being at the level that they're at. They want to go further. They want to, maximize their potential. Everyone I talk to says something like that. So if you're discussing events all the time or thinking about events all the time, then your goals and your actions are in conflict. They're incongruent because you say you want to do this, move up, but the actions are saying you want to do this. You want to stay average. And the third level person, the high level individual, is always thinking about ideas. And just because you start thinking about ideas doesn't mean that a bag of money and success is just going to fall out the sky tomorrow morning. But as long as you stay there and you stay focused on it, then you have no choice but to reap the rewards that are congruent with the way that you're constantly thinking. And no human being can perform or achieve at a level that is incongruent with his way of thinking over a consistent period of time, consistent and extended period of time. Everybody got that? So last thing I'm going to tell you all is Work on Your Game University. That is a place where you take the next step to working with me. If you want to work with me directly and you want to be engaged in ideas and you want to get ideas for how to move your business forward, not just ideas to do it, but actually ways to move yourself forward, move your business forward, the bulletproof mindset that we will help implement in you so this becomes a normal way of thinking, the strategy so that you have an actual game plan to move yourself forward in business and you're not just doing things randomly, the system so that you can implement your system and be doing the same things the same way every time, no more randomness, and you actually have a system that over time, as long as you continue to execute, is guaranteed to produce results and guaranteed to produce a return of you moving yourself up and moving yourself forward, and the accountability so that you always have someone to talk to, someone to bounce ideas off of, someone who is making sure that you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing, catching you when you start slipping so that you can't fall back into mediocrity by accident. If you want all of those things and more, then you need to join Work on Your Game University. That link is right there in the comment on IG, also on Facebook. There's also a link in my bio on Instagram. Work on Your Game University. That is the only place where you can work with me directly. That's the only place you can get into my mastermind groups. That's the only place where you'll be able to talk to me on a regular basis, share with me what you're doing, get feedback from me on how to do it better and how to move it to a higher level. Do I sound like I know what I'm doing? All right, that's because I do. All right, so workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's the place where you take your next step with me. Right there, you want to get on a call with me or somebody on my team about how you can get involved in the university. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. We'll tell you exactly what to do, exactly what steps to take. Brandon, appreciate you over there on Facebook. All right, everybody, we are out of here. Y'all have a great afternoon. Work on your game.